The dry wind of New Kansas carried dust like old memories. The twin suns were already climbing high, washing the golden plains with light so sharp it hurt to look at. Samuel Harlan, a farmer with one arm and 1,000 worries, stood outside his small house staring at the horizon. His farm used to be green once, used to. Now it looked like something out of a forgotten age. Empty fields, blackened soil, and the remains of burned-out machines. He ran his hand across the metal stump where his left arm used to be. The prosthetic socket was cracked from years of use. It wasn't fancy like the ones rich citizens had on Earth Prime. His was made from old ship parts and a few kind donations. It worked well enough to grip a shovel, but it hurt when it rained or when he thought too much about the past. The fire had taken everything: his harvest, his home, his animals, and most of his hope. Nobody came to help. People didn't help much on frontier worlds. The colonies were too far apart, and everyone had their own problems. After months of rebuilding alone, Sam realized he couldn't keep doing it. He wasn't just lonely. He was tired. The silence of his ruined land echoed like a punishment. That's when he saw the advertisement. The ad was on a half-broken hollow screen in the trade post at Miller's Station. A bright blue alien woman smiled on the display, her eyes glimmering like morning dew. Need a partner? The Intergalactic Bride Service connects lonely hearts across species. Companionship, care, and cross-cultural harmony. Sam almost laughed. Alien brides, huh? He muttered. He didn't believe in such things. But later that night, when the rain tapped on his tin roof and his loneliness pressed down like a weight, he thought about it again. He didn't want love. He wanted someone to talk to. Someone who wouldn't pity him for his missing arm or his burnt farm. So he sent a simple message. He didn't even think anyone would answer. But 3 days later, a reply came. The message was from someone named Lyra of Ethria. Her picture wasn't perfect. Her blue skin had faint marks that looked like silver tattoos, and her clothes were plain. But her eyes caught him. They were soft, patient eyes, as if they saw through his screen and understood him completely. Greetings, Samuel Harlan, she wrote. I read your message. You said your world is quiet. I like quiet places. My people once lived among noise and crowds. I prefer peace. May I come? Sam blinked at the message for a long time. Most people would have hesitated, but he just typed back, if you can handle a burned-down farm and a one-armed fool, sure. You can come. The arrival 2 weeks later, the sky over the Harlan farm shimmered with blue light. A small shuttle descended, humming softly as it landed near the ruins of the old barn. Sam stood there, dusty hat in hand, heart beating faster than he liked to admit. The hatch opened, and out stepped Lyra. She was taller than he expected. Graceful in movement, but dressed simply, no jewels. No rich fabrics, just a travel cloak and boots. Her skin glowed faintly in the sunlight, and her hair shimmered like liquid metal. When she smiled, something inside him softened. Samuel Harlan? She asked, her voice like calm wind. That's me, he said. Welcome to, well, what's left of Harlan Farm? She looked around at the burnt fields and the broken fences. Her expression didn't change. Instead, she knelt down, touched the soil, and closed her eyes. It still breathes, she said softly. Your land isn't dead, just hurt. Sam tilted his head. You can tell that? Lyra nodded. My people are terraformers. We can feel when land suffers. Then she stood up. You have been trying to heal it alone. I can help, he almost laughed. You'd better have a miracle then. Lyra just smiled again. Perhaps I do. New life begins. In the following days, Lyra worked harder than Sam expected any visitor or bride to work. She didn't complain about the heat or the dust. She helped repair the irrigation lines, fixed the water pump, and even tinkered with the old farm droid that hadn't worked in years. One evening, Sam came out of the barn and found her sitting near the well, holding a small crystal that glowed faintly in her hands. What's that? He asked. It's a seed of renewal, she said. Etherian soil crystal. When placed in wounded ground, it calls to the roots of life. It can take years to grow, but once it does, it heals everything around it. He frowned. You're saying that tiny rock can fix all this? Lyra met his gaze. Not all, but enough to start again. Sam felt a spark of something he hadn't felt in months. Hope. Then plant it, he said. The secret of the crystals. For days after that, Lyra walked the fields at dawn, placing small glowing stones into the soil, whispering in her alien tongue. Sam watched from a distance, unsure if it was science or magic or both. At night, they sat by the fire and shared stories. He told her about Earth, about losing his arm in a combine accident during harvest season, and about how he never gave up on this land. She told him about Ethria, a world that was once green and bright until it was mined dry by corporations. Her people scattered across the stars, trading their skills to survive. There was something proud and sad in her eyes when she spoke of her home. One evening, he asked, "Why'd you sign up for that bride program anyway?" She smiled faintly. "Because I wanted to belong somewhere again. And maybe, to help someone who still believed in growing things." Sam didn't say anything. He just nodded. For the first time, the silence between them felt peaceful instead of empty. A flicker of change weeks passed, and something strange began to happen. The blackened soil started turning brown again. Tiny green shoots broke through the dirt. The air smelled cleaner, fresher. Even the old water pump began drawing clearer water. Sam could hardly believe it. "You're doing it," he said one morning as he looked across the reborn field. "You're really bringing it back." Lyra only said, "The land remembers kindness." He smiled. "So do people." The return of trouble. Just when everything seemed to be turning around, trouble came. Like it always did. A silver hover truck appeared one morning, kicking up dust as it stopped at the gate. The logo on the side read Helios Terraforming Corporation. 3 men stepped out wearing neat uniforms and cold smiles. Sam recognized one of them, Grant, the regional agent who'd offered to buy his land months ago for a pitiful sum. "Well, well," Grant said, looking around. "Didn't expect to see you still here, Harlan. Thought the fire finished you." Sam crossed his arms. "Still standing." Grant's eyes flicked to Lyra. "And you found yourself a helper. Pretty one, too." "Didn't know you were into aliens." Sam's jaw tightened. "Watch your words." Lyra stayed calm, her expression unreadable. "What do you want?" she asked. Grant smiled thinly. "Helios owns the mining rights for the region. We detected energy readings from this land. Etherian crystals, I'd guess. Illegal without license. So unless you want trouble, you'll hand them over." Sam looked at her, surprised. "Crystals?" Lyra's eyes darkened, but she said nothing. The men smirked, thinking she'd been caught. Grant continued. "You don't have the tech to hide them anyway. We'll take them and be on our way." Sam stepped forward. "You're not taking anything from my land." Grant shrugged. "Your choice. But you'll regret it." They left in a cloud of dust, leaving silence behind. The storm that night, thunder rolled over the plains. Lyra stood outside, her silver tattoos glowing faintly under the lightning. Sam joined her, confused and worried. "Lyra," he said, "what are those men talking about? Crystals? Are those the things you planted?" She turned slowly toward him. "Yes," she said quietly. "They are not just seeds. They are pieces of Etheria's core. My people call them the Heartstones. They carry energy beyond measure. I brought them here to heal your land, but if Helios finds out, they will take everything." Sam swallowed hard. "So that's why the ground changed so fast." Lyra nodded. "I should have told you. But I feared you'd send me away." He shook his head. "No, you saved this place. We'll protect it together." Lightning flashed again, bright and fierce. Lyra looked at him, her eyes glowing like stars. Then she said softly, "Samuel, there is something else you must know. I am not just a farmer's bride. I am the last heir of the Etherian Council. The crystals are all that remains of my world's legacy." Sam froze, staring at her as the wind howled through the fields. And that was when the first explosion shook the sky. The explosion came from the north field. A fireball lit up the night, and the shockwave knocked dust from the walls. Sam grabbed his coat and ran out into the rain. The sky was red with burning clouds. Lyra stood beside him, calm but tense, her silver tattoos glowing brighter with every flash of lightning. "The Helios men," she said softly. "They have come back." Sam clenched his jaw. "They want your crystals. They will destroy everything to get them," she answered. "The Heartstones are priceless. To them this is not land, it is treasure." Another blast shook the barn. The smell of smoke filled the air. Sam looked at his half-rebuilt house, at the green shoots Lyra had brought back to life, and felt anger rise in his chest. He had already lost this farm once. He would not lose it again. The attack-bright lights appeared on the horizon, hover drones scanning the fields. The engines of a Helios carrier rumbled like thunder. Sam and Lyra ran toward the fields. Sam's old farming droid Rusty rolled beside him, its metal body squealing. Intruders detected, it beeped in its broken voice. Defensive protocol active. Sam smiled grimly. Good to have you, Rusty. Lyra lifted her hands. The air shimmered faintly, and blue energy pulsed through the soil. I can slow them, she said, but I cannot fight. Then I'll handle the rest. With only one arm and an old shotgun, Sam knew he couldn't do much, but this was his land. His father's land. He'd rather stand and fail than hide and watch it burn again. The confrontation. The first hover truck stopped near the barn. Grant, the Helios agent, stepped out, wearing a raincoat and that same cold smile. Evening, Harlan, he called. You should have listened. Now we're taking what's ours, Sam shouted back. You don't own this place. Grant laughed. The law says otherwise. Energy readings from your property match Etherian tech. That makes it corporate property. Step aside. Lyra walked forward, calm and proud. You have no right to these stones. They belong to my people. Grant's smile faded. Then you must be the thief. We'll take you too. He raised his hand, signaling his men. The drones moved in. Sam aimed his shotgun and fired. The blast hit one of the drones, sending sparks into the rain. Another drone fired a stun beam that scorched the ground near his feet. Rusty rolled forward and slammed its body into a drone, knocking it out of the air. Good work, buddy, Sam shouted. Lyra closed her eyes. The ground began to tremble. The crystals she had planted started glowing under the soil, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. A soft blue mist rose around her like fog. Grant stared, startled. What is this? Lyra opened her eyes. You should not have come here. The power of the Heartstones. The earth itself seemed to breathe. From the burned fields, tall green vines burst upward, wrapping around the drones. The roots cracked through the ground, glowing like molten glass. The storm wind carried a strange humming sound, like a song sung by the soil. Sam shielded his eyes. Lyra, her voice was steady. I'm calling them home. What do you mean? The Heartstones, they are waking. They will defend their keeper. The vines moved like living shields, forming walls around the house and barn. The drones tried to shoot, but their beams scattered harmlessly against the glowing plants. Grant's men panicked. Retreat! One shouted. But Grant didn't move. His eyes were wide, not with fear, but with greed. He pulled a compact weapon from his belt and pointed it at Lyra. Then I'll just take the source. Sam didn't think. He rushed forward. The beam hit his metal arm, making it spark, but he kept going. He slammed into Grant, knocking the weapon away. They fell into the mud, struggling. Grant was younger and stronger, but Sam had the will of someone who refused to lose again. With one swing of his metal arm, Sam pushed Grant back into the glowing mud. Energy from the soil surged upward, surrounding the man in blue light. He screamed, not in pain, but in shock, as the vines wrapped around him and held him still. Lyra stepped forward, raising her hand. The vines released him and let him fall unconscious. Sam panted, covered in mud and rain. That was close. Lyra looked at him, eyes glowing faintly. You risked your life for me, he smiled. You risked yours for my home. Guess we're even. Morning after, by dawn, the storm was gone. The Helios drones lay scattered and lifeless. The field shimmered with dew, and small blue flowers bloomed where the crystals had been buried. The air felt cleaner than ever. Sam stood on the porch watching the sunrise. Lyra joined him, her cloak wet but her expression peaceful. The Heartstones will sleep now, she said. They have done their work. Sam nodded. Do you think Helios will come back? They will try, she said. But they cannot take what they cannot find. The crystals have joined the land. They are part of this world now. He looked at her. And what about you? She smiled softly. I will stay if you wish it, he chuckled. You planted hope here, Lyra. I'd be a fool to let you go. The secret vault a week later, while repairing the old silo, Sam found something strange. Beneath the new green soil was a metal hatch, ancient and half-buried. Lyra examined it, tracing the markings. This is Etherian design, she said. One of our seed vaults. They opened it carefully. Inside were dozens of glowing crystals, larger than any Lyra had planted. Each one pulsed with gentle light. Sam whistled. That's a fortune. Lyra shook her head. No, this is life. Enough to heal 1,000 worlds. He looked at her. Helios must never find this. They won't, she said firmly. But you must decide what to do with it. It is your land now. He thought for a long time. Then we'll use it the right way, slowly, to help this planet grow again, to help the people who are struggling like us." Lyra smiled, and for the first time since she arrived, she looked truly at peace. That is the Etherian way. New beginnings. Months passed. The once burned fields turned green and golden again. Rivers that had dried out began to flow. The nearby settlers came to see the miracle farm that had bloomed overnight. Sam and Lyra shared seeds, tools, and advice, helping everyone around them rebuild their own land. News spread across the colonies about the one-armed farmer and the alien woman who turned dust into life. Some people laughed, calling it a fairy tale, but others believed. They came to learn, not to take. Sam's old house became a meeting place filled with laughter, stories, and the smell of fresh bread. Lyra taught the children how to listen to the earth. Sam taught them how to build machines that worked with nature, not against it. For the first time in years, New Kansas wasn't dying. It was alive. Helios returns, but Helios didn't forget. One day, a company ship appeared in orbit, broadcasting a message. "This land is under corporate investigation. All resources will be confiscated." The settlers panicked, but Sam stood firm. He sent a message back. "This is not your land anymore. It belongs to those who care for it." Then something unexpected happened. When the Helios ship tried to land, the scanners failed. Every piece of equipment went dark. The pilot reported strange readings, as if the entire planet's surface was shielded by invisible energy. Lyra stood beside Sam, watching the sky. "The Heartstones are protecting us," she said quietly. "They know who their guardians are." The Helios ship turned away. It never came back. The gift that evening, under a violet sunset, Lyra placed a small crystal in Sam's hand. It glowed faintly, warm and alive. "This is the heart of Etheria," she said. "It will last as long as your heart does." Sam turned it over gently. "What does it do?" "It reminds you that every wound can heal," she said. "Even those you cannot see." He looked at her, smiling. "You saved my farm, Lyra." She shook her head. "No, Samuel. We saved each other." Epilogue. Years later, travelers spoke of the miracle farm on New Kansas. They said the land never grew dry again, that the fields shimmered faintly blue at night, and that the farmer and his alien bride still worked side by side, smiling under the twin suns. Children who visited the farm swore they could hear the ground humming when they laughed. Some said the earth itself seemed to breathe with life. And somewhere deep beneath those green fields, the ancient crystals of Etheria pulsed quietly, keeping their promise, guarding the home of the one-armed human who refused to give up and the alien woman whose hidden wealth had saved his world.